Let's see it.
Charlie Bahama Show. Charlie Bahama Show. Charlie Bahama Show. Charlie Bahama Show. Charlie Bahama Show.
It's the Charlie Bahama Show. Yeah.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama, and we are here in Cuba. That's right. So this is the Charlie Havana Show, I guess, or the Charlie Cuba Show. But we're actually right now in Santiago de Cuba. Okay, and this is where we're going to begin our adventure in Santiago de Cuba. And Havanatur brought us here because they wanted us to see the beautiful island of Cuba.
Cafe Leche.
Ah, thank you, Juan Carlos.
It's Jason from Bahamas Local.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. Wow, Juan Carlos from Bahamas Local came all the way here to give me a cafe con leche because you must start your show, your day with Cuban coffee. Fantastic. And you can only get the best Cuban coffee right here. I guess in Miami also, but right here is the very best. But we are here in Santiago de Cuba, and we're also going to go to Holguin. And I think I've seen, what Havanatur Bahamas has for us. I think we're going to have to do 2 shows because it is a lot, okay? And there's a lot of culture, art, the people, the places. We're even going to go to the resting place of Fidel. They tell us we're going to go up into the mountains. We're going to do so much here. So 2 shows, I think. Also, do you know who flies from the Bahamas twice a week? What do you think? Go to our social media pages and tell me what you think or who you think flies from the Bahamas to Cuba. All right? And when I say that, you have to also go to the Charlie Bahama YouTube page and our social media pages because this show is going to be so much interviews. And Orlando, who is our guide, he is taking us around. He is so full of information and facts and figures and history that I have to, shorten the interviews for the show. But on the Charlie Bahama YouTube page, you can see the entire interview, all right? So you want to go there to see the full interviews and so much more that we cannot show on this show because we don't have enough time. 2 shows. We're going to put all of this into 2 shows, all right? So come on back, Charlie Bahama from Cuba. The Charlie Bahama Show is brought to you by KFC. Ignite your senses with the exciting flavors of KFC. And brought to you by Superwash, where they washes you, dries you, presses you 24/7. And brought to you by Havanatur Bahamas, your Cuba specialist. The Charlie Bahama Show will be right back. Keep up with all things Charlie Bahama by following Charlie Bahama on all our social media pages. Get behind-the-scenes access to Bahamian and international celebrities, along with travel info, tips, photography, and video. Like, share, and follow Charlie Bahama on all social media platforms. And subscribe to our Charlie Bahama YouTube page to catch up on all past episodes and bonus clips. You can also go to charliebahama.com anytime. We always keep the lights on. The Charlie Bahama Show. All that same flair with a little less hair.
Yeah.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat. Unlike the no-gets, at KFC, we hand bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash. And you know how Superwash always have the latest and greatest model of washer and dryer? Well, they thought it's about time they get the latest supermodel as well.
Hey, wait a minute, Mr. Charlie Banana. Just because Superwash always changing and upgrading their machines, I mean they gotta change those folks, but they got the newest washer and dryer, and they always upgrading all their locations. And these 2 models, they ain't gotta change. Superwash, they washes you, cleans you, presses you 24/7.
Hey, welcome back to the Charlie Bahama Show. It is your boy Charlie Bahama in Santiago de Cuba con Orlando.
Oh,
el jefe de Cuba. El jefe de Havanatur.
Grupo Havanatur Bahamas.
Yes. So what is this? This is so amazing back here. Who is this?
This is the Square of Revolution in Santiago de Cuba, dedicated to the memory of Antonio Maceo, our biggest fighter, black people or brown people in Santiago de Cuba, Major General, who organized and fought in the War of Independence in order to emancipate our races, our Afro-Cuban descendant. Antonio Maceo was the most outstanding warrior in Cuba, and so that's why we have a national order. In this square of revolution, this image is very symbolic. On horse, Antonio Maceo is always represented as a fighter, just fighting, always fighting, and not dying, for instance. Yeah.
Also, did you say 3 popes?
Three
spoke here?
popes. 3 popes. It is very important to mention. We received the visit of 3 popes in Cuba, and in Santiago de Cuba they began offering masses. And so that's why in Santiago de Cuba, in this square of revolution, the masses of Mr. Jean Paul II, Benedict XVI, and Francisco I, they offered the masses here, very important masses, calling to the new future, or the future of the Cuban island, and the good relationships between Cuba and the rest of the world.
Yes. I don't need to speak with Orlando. Orlando is the show host now of Charlie Bahama Show. We give you, okay? So more Charlie Bahama right after this with Orlando.
Yeah.
The Charlie Bahama Show is brought to you by KFC. Ignite your senses with the exciting flavors of KFC. And brought to you by Superwash, where they washes you, dries you, presses you 24/7. And brought to you by Havanatur Bahamas, your Cuba specialist. The Charlie Bahama Show will be right back. Have you ever dreamed about visiting the beautiful island of Cuba? Havanatur Bahamas is your passport to adventure, beauty, culture, and history with direct flights from Nassau to Cuba. Whether it's for medical travel, weddings, or vacation, Havanatur Bahamas arranges everything from car rentals to hotels, apartments, or tours in your language. Explore the old city of Havana, historic Santiago de Cuba, or the beaches of Varadero. See how the world-famous Cuban cigars and rum are made. Havanatur Bahamas, the one and only Cuba specialist. Contact Havanatur Bahamas and start your Cuba adventure today. Hey, welcome back to the Charlie Bahama Show, and we are here again with Orlando, and Orlando's going to tell us a little bit about what we saw. Oh, what do you...
Charlie, you need a drink, you also drink.
Okay, yeah.
A drink for you.
Okay.
Yes, it's a rum cola. Cuba Libre. Remember Cuba Libre, please. Take
gracias.
it. Yes.
Gracias. Okay, so tell us where we are now.
Yeah, this is the downtown in Santiago de Cuba. In Santiago de Cuba. Very, very, very important, this downtown. It is all about the foundation of the city of Santiago, with the first buildings constructed by the former governorship, with the cathedral, the first cathedral officially in Cuba, before the one of Havana.
Now,
16th to 17th century. And then the first city hall. We can see city hall, and we can see this old house is the oldest house in Cuba, Diego Velázquez house, the first governor in Santiago de Cuba was settled, the first governorship in Cuba before go to Havana.
Right, so I just want to say that so people realize, because everybody knows Havana, but Santiago de Cuba is the first capital.
The first capital officially in Cuba when the city was founded in 1515. We celebrate all those anniversaries. In Santiago de Cuba was established the governorship. Why? Because in Santiago de Cuba was settled also the first archbishopship or bishopship. So that's why the religious power and the military power and the political power were here together. So that's why Santiago became a very important. And the port. Remember, see the port, very important, very nearby. In this level belonging to the system of terraces, we have several levels from the sea, from the bay. Important because the defense were constructed precisely using this topography. Was very effective formerly in those periods. Later, well, that changed, all that. We have here Main Street, Aguilera, Marina, coming from the bay, where the port, the customs, for instance, are located, and then to the rest of the city of Santiago.
Now we are on top of, what is this hotel here? So when people come,
This hotel, emblematic hotel. But we are talking about the 20th century, when the Republic was created, remember? And then many new buildings were constructed.
name?
Casa Grande Hotel, the system, because I wanted to reach to the system of hotels. The new tourism, but coming from the United States, for instance, from Europe, and so that's why many big enterprises arrived in Santiago de Cuba, to Havana, to Cienfuegos, to Camagüey. And what happened there? The Railway Corporation, Ferrocarriles, la compañía de ferrocarriles norteamericanos, Railway or Railroad Corporation, was established here.
Wow.
And so that's why helped to construct, to build this hotel in order to have what? The rooms for the staff in Santiago de Cuba, because American enterprise, American corporation dominated the railway around the Cuban island from Havana to Santiago. That's why it is very important hotel.
and people don't realize how big Cuba is, because from Havana to Santiago de Cuba,
1,000 kilometers about. 1,000 kilometers about the distance by road. By road, because we have by train, we have by plane, etc., etc.
But by plane, it's a 1 hour flight. So that's a long.
1 hour, 5 or 10 minutes, according to the plane, the quality of the plane.
But Cuba is very, very big. But this Santiago de Cuba is very important.
Cuba, about Santiago de Cuba, the mountains.
Yeah.
The mountains is the
see way over there.
amphitheater.
I'm going to show. I'm going to show a lot of footage so people can see all of Cuba as we go. Because earlier today we also went by the where Fidel Castro is buried, right?
Yes, in Santiago de Cuba. See that the city hall, Fidel Castro made the first speech, January the 1st. At night to January the 2nd, Fidel Castro declared the triumph of the revolution, the first speech to the people before go to Havana. On January the 8th. On January the 8th, arrived in Havana in order to establish the governorship.
So it seems like everything started in Santiago de Cuba.
Everything.
Wait.
I wanted to start with the group this morning. Everything started in Santiago de Cuba, and it is all about the foundation of the city, the foundation of the country, because the first capital was settled here,
and
officially.
So
Diego Velázquez.
Right. So Castro started here, but then he's buried here too.
Exactly. Castro started here and buried here because of according to his will. Yeah. According to his will, Jose Marti, national hero. Why Jose Marti in Santiago de Cuba? Because he wanted to be buried with the poor of the ground in Santiago de Cuba, because he died in Santiago de Cuba in battle. Imagine the history, all the history, fluidity of the history here to Santiago de Cuba. To Santiago de Cuba, it is important.
Look like you were in a dance?
I don't know, because precisely because it's emotional. It's a motive to me. It's a motive when I explain all this. Precisely, is not an invention. It's precisely the history itself.
Yeah, you're very
flowing in it.
Very passionate. So
Passion.
When you come to Cuba, you with Havanatur, ask for Orlando, because Orlando has so much information for you. And when you come to Cuba, you have to go to, of course, first Santiago de Cuba, and then you can move on to Havana, but Santiago de Cuba primero.
It's a pleasure to me to explain Santiago de Cuba, and I say Santiago de Cuba always the first, always primero. And remember, we are celebrating our 45th anniversary of Havanatur, our group of tour operator and travel agencies.
Yeah, we'll talk
in Santiago
more
de Cuba.
From Nassau. So here, let's have our drink. Yeah, salud.
Salud.
Okay.
Charlie. Salud.
More Charlie Bahama right after this.
Hey, thank you.
If you want more Charlie Bahama, go to any of our social media pages or subscribe to the Charlie Bahama YouTube page. Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash. And you know how Superwash always have the latest and greatest model of washer and dryer? Well, they thought it's about time they get the latest supermodel as well.
Hey, wait a minute, Mr. Charlie Banana. Just because Superwash always changing and upgrading their machines, I mean they gotta change those spokes, but they got the newest washer and dryer, and they always upgrading all their locations. And these two models, they ain't gotta change. Superwash, they washes you, cleans you, presses you 24/7.
Okay, Orlando, we made it to the top of the mountain. Where are we?
Where are we? We are on the top of the mountain, finally. Gran Piedra, the top of the Gran Piedra, the big rock. Record Guinness, more than 60,000 tons of the weight. Imagine. Record Guinness by this list since 1985. And so, World Heritage after the year 2000. With all the coffee plantations, the former coffee plantations, and the Isabelica Museum is next to, nearby.
We're going
Isabelica.
now.
We
Yeah, we're
are
going.
exactly. We're going. Okay.
And then we're going to see the coffee. So tell us about the coffee. They make it right there, right? The cafe?
They make it right there, the cafe. Indeed, it's a culture. Indeed, it's a heritage. We're brought all the plants from Haiti, and then nowadays Cuba is a big producer. It's good.
So we're going to see them. I'm going to show you images of them making it, and then we're going to head to the Coffee Museum. And from here, we can see all of Cuba. Almost.
All of Santiago de Cuba.
Cuba.
All of Santiago de Cuba province, Santiago de Cuba region, the territory. See, over there, Guantanamo.
Yeah, I'll show all of that.
Guantanamo. We are right on the eastern Cuba, extreme of the Cuban island, eastern extreme.
Okay. Now, where is the helicopter to take us down?
Yeah, I don't know. Perhaps I'm thinking, for years, I'm thinking about this kind of method, kind of help in order to climb up here to our mountain. Indeed, helicopters or funiculars, or I don't know. We are thinking about
Parachute.
Parachute also.
Okay, well, let's go get a coffee so we can get back down, okay?
Yeah.
All right, onward. We keep going, Charlie Bahama. We take you to the top of the mountain.
Top of the mountain.
All right, more.
The Charlie Bahama Show is brought to you by KFC. Ignite your senses with the exciting flavors of KFC. And brought to you by Superwash, where they washes you, dries you, presses you 24/7. And brought to you by Havanatur Bahamas, your Cuba specialist. The Charlie Bahama Show will be right back.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat. Unlike the no-gets, at KFC, we hand bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
Hey, welcome back to the Charlie Bahama Show, and we have made it up to the mountains. And let me tell you, this was a long, scary. I was scared in some people. It was, I mean,
Asustado. Scary, asustado.
Okay,
Some scary.
I was, but
And why, please, Charlie? Why? You
because
scary?
it's whew.
Yes, exactly, because we are precisely in Santiago de Cuba, in La Gran Piedra, Sierra Maestra, the top of this part of the Sierra Maestra, the biggest range of the Cuban island. And we are exactly at the top of this part, up to 1,234 meters high.
Wow, it was high, and so it took us about half an hour in the bus. And I mean, these roads, and you look down and you just see, whoo,
Exactly, we can see, if you look down, you look to the sea, etc., because the mountain is like this, many failures, for instance, this is,
I don't like the word failure.
Yeah, and those are the plates of the mountain. Remember, we have conditions in Cuba, for instance, earthquakes coming from Haiti, very nearby, that's why we have a system of terraces, system of plates, etc., when the Cuban island came up from the sea, our pretty island is like this one.
Wow. Well, now where are we? Where have we made it? What's up here? Because it's a jewel on top of the mountain.
Exactly. This jewel precisely is a World Heritage. Indeed, this jewel is the only standing among more than 170 haciendas, production of coffee coming from Haiti, coming from the French people. Indeed, this is a heritage, a very big heritage. Before that, before this period, we never knew coffee plants or the cherry, for instance, in Cuba. We didn't consume the coffee, for instance. So that's why the French people arrived here with this pretty big, huge influence. The coffee productions, the coffee consumption, or the chocolate. It began the chocolate consumption or services since the arrival of the French people to La Gran Piedra. And why La Gran Piedra? Because they could see the special conditions in order to produce all those kind of products. It's a microclimate, it's very fresh all the day. Imagine, it's very fresh here. When we get Santiago again, the heat is very hot. But it's pretty the landscape. So that's why the UNESCO declared all those places World Heritage. This is our influence.
Yeah, I can tell you the air is cooler up here. It is amazing. It is magical. It's funny because everybody knows Cuba, obviously from the cigars, but also the Cuban coffee, fuerte,
Cuban coffee.
amazing. And it really came originally from the
Exactly.
French. It's amazing because
Exactly. Before that, we only knew the rum, the fire, water, aguardientes, and then the aging the rum, we have the añejos. Thanks to Bacardi family, hello Bacardi family, or many other producers of rum from the sugar cane. But the sugar cane are produced on our plains, all over the country, all over the island, and coffee on our mountains. So that's why, because the microclimate favorizing this plantation and this quality of our coffee. So that's why, since that moment, we had rum, but also coffee next to our cigars. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, listen, as you can tell, Orlando knows a lot, and he tells you all the history. I'm changing my show from the Charlie Bahama Show to Hablando con Orlando.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for making talk to Bahamas, to the
And the world.
Caribbean, and to the world.
Yes. Okay, so we'll be back on Hablando con Orlando, okay, after this.
The Charlie Bahama Show is brought to you by KFC. Ignite your senses with the exciting flavors of KFC. And brought to you by Superwash, where they washes you, dries you, presses you 24/7. And brought to you by Havanatur Bahamas, your Cuba specialist. If you want more Charlie Bahama, go to any of our social media pages or subscribe to the Charlie Bahama YouTube page.
Well, thanks for watching the Charlie Bahama Show from here in Santiago de Cuba, in Cuba. But like I said, it's so much here on this little island. You think it's little? It's huge. Okay, so we're going to leave here and go to Holguin. And then from there, we're going to go to Havana. But the reason why we're ending here is because this is the Basilica del Cobre. And their patron saint of Cuba lies in there. There's a statue in there, so it's so sacred. And I haven't been in yet, so we're going to show you footage once I get inside to see what it is. And then from here, we head off to Holguin and our next episode, which will be next week. All right, so make sure that stick with our social medias. Go to all our social media pages, Instagram, so you're going to see a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But Havanatur is, giving us so much to do here, Havanatur Bahamas, that we have to do 2 episodes. So next week will be from Holguin and also Havana. All right, and the reason I have this corded microphone is because in Cuba, we get all the permission to film here, because it's hard to, get permission to film here. They also told us we should have corded mics, okay? So we have to pull this out of our archives from the 90s, all right? So no wireless microphones. But Havanatur, they took care of everything for us, amazing. This amazing itinerary. So Havanatur Bahamas, if you want to come to Cuba, which I say you should try and see it, go to Havanatur, and they could set you up coming to Cuba, Havana, of course. There's so many places here. Santiago de Cuba, Veadero, and Holguin, and all these wonderful places to see. So until next week, remember, go to the social media and Charlie Bahama social media, and then come on back for next week because it's going to be a lot more adventure right here from Cuba.
Charlie Bahama Show. 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 Charlie Bahama